The Jewish identity. Religion has long been recognized as a cultural identity in our society. Cultural identity and the ways in which we see ourselves as a member of our cultural group helps us in how we see and understand the world we live in. Jewish identity has reinvented itself after a period of being silent through the arts, especially Yiddish music. Yiddish music is a way that communicates history to future generation of Jews. Yiddish music can sometimes be seen through a different lens of not quite Jewish identity, but instead the expression within the arts through learning. Yiddish folk songs explain the multifaceted Jewish life versus simply talking about the struggles of Israel. People often sought out what gave Jewish identity, and what they found through the Yiddish songs was it gave Jews a point of reference. These songs gave them something familiar and answered so many questions about their past. Jews who listened to these songs could suddenly identify with the writers of this music. Above all, they were able to connect with the persecution and the suffering through this type of folk songs. The Jewish hipster. The Jewish identity is branching out in a different direction as a new and younger movement is taking place. It's called The Ghost That Is Haunting the American Jewish Culture, and it's called Jewish hipsterism. And it's definitely not a social movement. Unfortunately, there is no cause, but does there really need to be one? It also has a different vision for the alternative Jewish person who fall into the category of the millennials. The one thing millennials do take very seriously is their politics, and they're in touch with their Jewish culture and with the non-religious world. These hipsters Jews fit right in with the popular culture. They're not plagued by anti-Semitism. They have never felt the tension between tradition and society. They have been unscathed by all those things. What is really interesting is that they find it awesome to be Jewish because we're now living in a time where it's awesome to be different. Hipster Jews have shared that they would like to not change but reinvent the Jewish identity. And like rebooting an old film, they would like to do that with the Jewish culture. And Jews who subscribe to the ideology that a person is made up of multiple elective identities, which can be put on or taken off at will. For them, Jewishness is never given. It's another choice on the a la carte menu of personal identity. So what does it all mean? Jewish identity is as complex as anyone else's. I've learned that being Jewish is so much more than a religion. It's a culture that has spiritual reflections, yet is filled with cultural traditions. It's a close-knit community because they feel bound by the persecution that they suffered from the beginning of time for many, many centuries. Being Jewish is very much a faith and an identity. And while Jews live in a dominant culture of Christianity, their co-culture thrives on a daily basis. Jews and non-Jews aren't really that different. We all want to belong and have a sense of pride in who and what we are.